During the Galactic Empire's construction of the second Death Star, there were various Imperial officers that were either piloting shuttles stationed on the Death Star itself or protecting the shield generator on the forest moon of Endor. Who were all these Imperial officers, and what were they responsible for? This video identifies many of the known officers featured in Episode 6, Return of the Jedi, and some of their background detail. We start this list with the opening scene as Darth Vader's shuttle approaches the second Death Star. Colonel Jenden was a former test pilot who flew TIE prototypes. He was actually the first pilot to fly the TIE Defender. As a member of Onyx TIE Defender Squadron, Jenden was the commander under the call sign Onyx 1. He was the senior co-pilot of Darth Vader's personal shuttle ST-321 in the months before the Battle of Endor in 4 ABY. Jenden produced the final approach readings and monitored descent functions before transmitting a land transmission code prior to the shuttle's clearance and the approach towards the superweapon. The other shuttle pilot was Captain Jgerro. He was a member of the Imperial military specialized group called the Imperial Demonstration Team. Jgerro served alongside Colonel Jenden as another test pilot on various TIE prototype starfighters. He was also a member of Onyx TIE Defender Squadron under the call sign of Onyx 2. During his service as part of Onyx Squadron, he scored around 24 combat victories. Because of the devastating loss of Imperial pilots following the Battle of Yavin, Jgerro was rapidly advanced into service at the Imperial Academy. While Colonel Jenden was completing the shuttle's code transmission, Jgerro requested clearance to land. During the shuttle's wait for landing clearance, Jgerro was nervous about how Darth Vader might have reacted if kept waiting too long by the battle station's port controller. Lieutenant Enda originally graduated third in his class from the Academy of Corridor. As the toughest Imperial training facility in the galaxy, Enda became a docking bay officer on the second Death Star and reported directly to Moff Jgerro. He personally supervised the unannounced arrival of Darth Vader's visit by ordering the deactivation of the station's deflector shield once Vader's shuttle code was cleared. The lieutenant then ordered for Moff Jgerro to be informed of Vader's arrival. During the Battle of Endor, Enda was present within the Death Star's control room, serving under Moff Jgerro's direct command. He supervised the orders given by the Moff to fire upon the attacking rebel fleet. Emperor Palpatine had ordered Jgerro to destroy the forest moon of Endor if the deflector shield was deactivated. Lieutenant Enda had no hesitation in relaying that order to the nearby gunner. However, before the station could destroy the moon, the rebels instead destroyed the Death Star, killing Enda in the process. Jad Bean, nicknamed Scorch, served as a Death Star trooper in the Imperial Navy. Bean was assigned to the North Star control room. Bean was present in the control room carrying out the orders from Moff Jgerro and Lieutenant Enda. As a gunner, Bean was ordered to fire the super laser which destroyed the Star Cruiser Liberty from the rebel fleet. After the destruction of the second Death Star, somehow Bean managed to survive and eventually joined the First Order. Bean went on to become a First Order TIE fighter pilot and rose to the rank of commander, serving as the leader of Zeta Squadron, a starfighter squadron of the First Order military. Concurrently, Bean also served as a flight instructor in the First Order. Bean participated in the Siege of Dakar against the Resistance in 34 ABY, leading a squadron of TIE Space Superiority fighters against the Resistance bombers. While serving the First Order, Bean was extremely fanatical to the Order's principles, even by the standards of the First Order pilots. Colonel David John served in the Imperial Army. John was promoted for his skills and bravery as a scout. He served as a leader in the Empire's Special Forces unit. John was among the many Imperial personnel present when both Darth Vader and Emperor Palpatine arrived aboard the second Death Star to quicken the super laser's construction. John advocated the development of the wilderness survival training for Imperial troops, despite the Empire's obvious technological superiority, and convinced his superiors that the wilderness survival and recon training were also necessary for military dominance. At the Battle of Endor, the colonel served under Admiral Firmus Piet as part of the Death Squadron. Captain Godherd served in the Imperial Navy and was stationed on board the Super Star Destroyer Executor. Godherd was an elite fleet engineer and a key operator of magnetic signature sensors monitoring Star Destroyer hulls. Godherd was present when Darth Vader arrived aboard the second Death Star and would later accompany Vader along one of the Death Star's corridors as they headed to the main hangar bay to await the Emperor's arrival on the station. The captain was known for his technical brilliance and his skills as a fleet engineer and sensor officer. Captain Sarkley was the nephew of Firmus Piet. Sarkley had previously fought against the Empire for the Rebel Alliance as a fighter pilot at the Battle of Yavin. Sarkley's ego made him unpopular with his fellow pilots, and later he chose to defect to the Empire, believing his talents would be better utilised. He was quickly elevated to the rank of captain and commanded a stormtrooper commando unit. Sarkly used his talent and became a renowned spy, which eventually brought him to the attention of Emperor Palpatine. Sarkly was also present on the second Death Star during Darth Vader's visit to the station and assigned to the deflector shield bunker on Endor under the command of Colonel Dyer. Rear Admiral Chernow was originally an expert in the field of deep space transmissions and also became an accomplished TIE fighter pilot. Promoted to the naval rank of Rear Admiral at the request of Admiral Firmus Piet, Chernow served as Piet's personal advisor aboard the Superstar Destroyer Executor. During this time he piloted a VT-49 Decimator. Chernow was among the officers accompanying Vader along one of the Death Star's corridors leading to the station's main docking bay, where he was again present to welcome Emperor Palpatine's arrival on the station. During the Rebels' assault on the Death Star, Chernow was aboard the Executor, and the Rear Admiral died when the massive Superstar Destroyer collided with the Death Star's north surface. Lieutenant Gron grew up on the planet of Corellia at some point during the Galactic Civil War. He was part of the Emperor's demonstration team, a specialized unit in the Galactic Empire's military which charted new hyperspace routes and explored unknown planets or unknown planetary areas. The lieutenant was Colonel Dyer's aide to oversee the fortification of the second Death Star's shield generator bunker on the forest moon of Endor. Grond organized scout trooper patrols and coordinated both scout movements and the actions to help lead the Imperial defense of the shield generator. Lieutenant Hepsley was assigned to Endor but originally served in the Enote sector in the Outer Rim territories as a starfighter pilot in the Imperial Navy. Hepsley's TIE fighter Scythe III was upgraded to provide excellent maneuverability with enhanced thrust propulsion during the combat at the Battle of Endor. DS-1813 was the call sign of a starfighter pilot in the Imperial Navy. He was known as the wingman to the renowned pilot Baron Soontir Fel in Sabre Squadron. He was part of the 181st Imperial Fighter Squadron, piloting the TIE Fighter Interceptor Sabre III. DS-1813 was given the nickname Fel's Wrath, and later flew on Fel's wing during the Battle of Endor. DS-184, as his call sign, was another starfighter pilot in the Imperial Navy, piloting the TIE Interceptor Sabre IV. He also earned a position in Fel's Sabre Squadron. As part of the 181st Imperial Fighter Group, he scored 12 kills during the subjugation of Mon Calamari. Flying as the wingman to Major Tur Fenner, DS-1814 often flew in the reserve position during battle and refused promotion so he could remain in the unit. During the Battle of Endor, DS-1814 was assigned to protect the Star Destroyer Avenger. Major Meander was the commander of a TIE squadron assigned to defend the second Death Star during the construction. The Major handpicked pilots to serve with him. He piloted Sith-1 during the Battle of Endor and pursued rebel starfighters in the Death Star's corridors. Colonel Dyer was stationed on the moon's surface as the commander of the Death Star's shield generator bunker, with Commander Iger and Major Hewick serving under him. The colonel was part of the Emperor's demonstration team to charter new hyperspace routes and explored unknown planets. During the rebels' infiltration of the shield bunker to set explosive charges, Dyer and a group of Imperials then confronted the rebels, but General Han Solo hurled a toolbox of explosives at the colonel, knocking him over a railing and down into the generator room below, killing the colonel. Lieutenant Renz was also stationed at the shield generator bunker. Renz captured the rebels who had infiltrated the bunker. However, when the rebels moved to regain control, Renz and his troops surrendered after being surrounded by the rebel soldiers and the Ewoks. Major Hewicks was stationed at the shield generator bunker and assisted Colonel Dyer alongside Commander Iger. During the fighting on the moon's surface, Han Solo successfully tricked Hewicks into sending several squads of Imperial troopers to aid the fighting, but they were ambushed by the rebels, and this allowed a group of rebels to enter the bunker. Hewicks and the remaining men in the bunker were forced to surrender to the Alliance soldiers, who began to plant charges inside the bunker before Imperial reinforcements arrived and captured them. Commander Iger served as an Imperial commander, and he was stationed on Endor's forest moon as one of the commanding officers of a garrison assigned to protect the shield generator bunker. While Commander Iger was on patrol, Luke Skywalker purposely surrendered himself to the officer in the hope of being brought to his father Darth Vader. Iger questioned Skywalker as to whether there were other rebels nearby, but the Jedi lied and told the commander he was alone. Having not believed Skywalker's lie, Iger then requested permission from Darth Vader to search the surrounding area for Skywalker's allies. Lieutenant Blenade served in the Imperial Army as an AT-ST gunner. During the Battle of Endor against the rebels, aided by the Ewoks, Blenade was the co-pilot gunner of the AT-ST under the command of Major Newland. When Blenade and Newland realised an Ewok had landed on top of the AT-ST's hatch, Blenade was ordered to remove the Ewok. However, the rebel Chewbacca pulled Blenade out of the cockpit and threw him to the ground, killing the lieutenant. Major Newland also served in the Imperial Army. Newland was the senior officer of the AT-ST Tempest Scout II during the rebels' attack on the shield generator. After Lieutenant Blenade was pulled out of the cockpit hatchway, two Ewoks then entered the cockpit and mercilessly beat Major Newland unconscious. Chewbacca and the two Ewoks took control of the AT-ST and helped turn the tide of the battle in the rebels' favour. The Imperial troops suspected the AT-ST's traitorous actions meant Newland and Blenade had joined the rebels against them, not realising the Major was unconscious the entire time, or that Blenade had been killed. Enda Jgerro served as one of the 20 Imperial Moffs. Towards the end of the Galactic Civil War, he commanded the second Death Star project and its construction. Not typical for most Imperial officers, Jgerro showed lack of ambition as he rose through the Imperial ranks. His personality displayed a cold and petty spitefulness. The Moff was assigned to supervise the completion of the superweapon, and was awarded the cover title of Director of Imperial Energy Systems due to the project's secrecy. To ensure the project's objectives were met, Jgerro worked extremely hard over the plans. Notably, he made sure that all the exhaust ports of the new station were heavily armoured, thus fixing the fatal flaw of the original Death Star. However, the Moff faced numerous problems, including budget cuts and supply chain breakdowns to the shortage of construction workers. Emperor Palpatine was displeased the station was behind its scheduled completion, and Darth Vader was sent to the Death Star to push Jgerro for results. With mounting issues facing the beleaguered Moff, he reluctantly mounted a renewed effort after Vader warned him that the Emperor would not tolerate failure. Despite this, Jgerro was still unable to complete the Death Star by the time Emperor Palpatine had arrived at the station. However, upon the Emperor's arrival, Palpatine simply ignored the Moff, and Jgerro realised that not having displeased his master was enough of a reward. During the Battle of Endor, Moff Jgerro perished when the second Death Star was eventually destroyed by the rebels. Years later, after the Galactic Empire's demise, his son, Jax Jgerro, and his wife, Jul, joined the First Order. So that completes the definitive list of all the second Death Star officers from canon material. Be sure to like, comment and subscribe for further Imperial videos, and long live the Empire. Thank you for watching, and as always, may the Force be with you.